welcome back to my channel. It's Adora Solido here, and I'm going to be talking about moving back to Nigeria. I'm going to be telling you guys about my experience. It's been over a year since I moved back, so I think I've got a good overview of living here. So I just thought I'd share my experience with you guys. I'll let you know how I've gotten along, navigating Nysc, starting a business, just kind of adapting in general to the whole situation. So yeah, let's get into it. I've got my coffee here, so grab a tea, grab a coffee, or a cocktail depending on what time it is, and let's get into it. Obviously I'm Nigerian, but I have lived in the UK, in London mostly, since I was about 10. Before that, my family kind of moved around a lot because of my dad's job, but then we eventually settled in Nigeria. So I did most of primary school in Nigeria, and I think a year of secondary school as well in Nigeria, in a Nigerian boarding school, before we all moved to London. So yeah, so I've kind of lived in Nigeria from when I was younger, and obviously we go back. I say obviously, y'all don't know this, but every year we go back for either Christmas or summer, or some years it was both. So I felt like I kind of understood, and I still, you know, was in touch with Nigeria and things like that, because I was going back every, like, actually it was mostly Christmas. But yeah, it was a whole different experience moving back for a year, because I think Christmas, when you go back, everyone comes back, it's busy, like you see family, everyone's kind of having a good time and celebrating. So I feel like maybe growing up and going back every year, I kind of just thought that was what Nigeria was like all the time. It was just fun and vibrant and lots of food, and yeah, that was kind of my perception of Nigeria after a while. Right, let's get into why I actually moved back. So I moved back for NYSC. NYSC is the National Youth, I don't know what it stands, I think it's National Youth Service Corps. I don't know, I'll double check, but I think that's right. So I moved back for NYSC, and if you're not Nigerian, NYSC is a year of service that you have to complete if you're Nigerian. It's like a compulsory year of service if you ever want to work in Nigeria. And I always knew growing up that I don't know if I would say I've always wanted to kind of move back and work in Nigeria, but I've never wanted to close that option off, because I always thought it was definitely a possibility in the future. So 2018, around November, I just finished my master's at Imperial, and I was just thinking about it. There's no actual moment in my life where I think I have a year to just move back to Nigeria. So, you know, I just finished my master's, and I thought this is the one time I think to do this, because before you know it, you start working, life takes over, things start happening, and then you just never, you know, do NYSC. So I just decided, you know what, I'm just gonna go back and do it now. So it was actually such a chaotic decision, because we were still thinking about what date should we do, blah blah blah, and then I found out that the registration for the final batch for 2018 was about to close, like in like a week or so, less than a week, or like a couple of days, something like that. And then they were saying they don't know when the next batch would be, because it was an election year and it was all crazy. So someone recommended that if I want to do it, I should do it like right there and then. So it was a Friday night, my mum and I were kind of filling out the form, booked my ticket, and by Sunday night, I'm talking 48 hours later, I was on a flight back to Nigeria. It was the most chaotic thing I've ever done. If you know me, I'm a planner. It takes me weeks and months. It takes me a long time to plan something, and, you know, step by step. But this was just boom, booked, on my way back. So yeah, Monday I was back in Nigeria, and by Thursday, I think, I was in NYSC camp doing 3 weeks of camp, and it was such a weird experience. on its own, and I feel like I need to do its own video at some point, my NYSC experience, because that's a whole other kettle of fish. It was a whole other thing, but it was a great experience, to be honest. I loved some bits of camp, and I met some incredible people. So yeah, it was a great experience overall. Yeah, so we always used to go back over Christmas once a year, so it was always kind of fun. There's always a family around and everything, but it was such a shock to my system when I left camp, and this was early December, and it was just quiet. So it was just it was nothing. Like that's kind of when it dawned on me that I didn't know anyone. I had one friend from uni in Abuja at the time, and I didn't know anyone. My family, all my siblings, my mom, they were all, you know, still in London. And yeah, it just kind of dawned on me that, wow, this is it. Yeah, this is the first 3 weeks of the next year, and I had no idea what I was gonna do. Like, honestly, it was just all confusing for me and stuff like that, but it all worked out, and I actually had, overall, I would say my year in Nigeria was a mixed bag. Like, I had the craziest, most frustrating, most, you know, annoying year, but I also had the most amazing time. I learned, you know, incredible life lessons, and yeah, it was just really good. It has its good bits and its bad bits, but overall it was an experience that I wouldn't trade for the world. Yes, first things first, making friends in Nigeria. I think for me that was the first thing on my agenda. I just needed to meet people, because like I said, I only knew one person when I moved back. Yeah, so I needed to meet people stats. For me, I found that a lot of people are actually very friendly. I met a lot of people that I know now through other people. So, you know, I met people through my one friend, and then through camp, and then going to my CDS, which is Community Development Service, which is part of NYSC. It's a weekly thing that you do where you know, help the community. So yeah, I met people through there. I also met people through like fashion events or just random events that you go to. I don't know, in my opinion, I just found that people were really nice, and yeah, it was generally quite easy to meet people. And I think the thing with Abuja, which is the capital city, is it's quite small. I mean, it's big, but it's really small in terms of like where people go out, and there's not a lot to do. So if you go to like one place, you probably meet half. It's probably where like all the young people hang out. So yeah, you end up just meeting half of the city basically, just by, you know, going out for brunch somewhere or going to one event or whatever. So yeah, I definitely recommend, don't sit at home waiting for people to call you out. If you know there's like an event which is in line with your maybe career aspirations or just interests or hobbies, then just go, you'll meet people. I know I enjoyed hiking, so there's lots of hiking clubs in Abuja. So yeah, find something that you're interested in and just go along, and you will meet people. Next thing that I would say is the lack of transportation. This was never a shock to me, because I've been going back to Nigeria my whole life, so I knew there was no underground or whatever, and the buses were not great. But it really dawns on you when you're living there and maybe you're working 9 to 5, and then you realize that if you don't drive, you are going to struggle to get around. I mean, there's Uber, but I guess it adds up over time, and it's just a bit of a hassle to always drive, and like you can't really walk anywhere either. First of all, it is hot. It is way too hot to be walking around. Next thing I would say that I feel like if you're moving back you need to be very wary of is bargaining. Everything that's not the set price, like even when they have the price printed on, I guarantee you can still haggle. And I think when I first moved back, I didn't really know the prices of things, and especially in camp, I felt like people just kind of took the piss. and it's like selective pricing. They price you according to what they think your income level is, and I used to get quite high prices, and someone was telling me, oh, you know, it's because of the accent, you need to, you know, speak in a certain way so that they don't like put the price up too much, and then whatever they say you just haggle and bring the price down. And I'm telling you, I feel like that was the best lesson I learned in my year. I learned how to haggle. Like, it's something I don't think I've ever really had to do, but I learned to do it in my 1 year, and I got really good at it by the end of it. Yeah, just kind of learned to haggle, and yeah, just learn the prices of things so that they don't take you for a mug. Okay, so the next like really big thing that I feel like I experienced and learned a lot from was starting my own business. So I launched my own clothing line. It's called Aura. It's a made in Africa ethical label for women, and yeah, we use like Nigerian textiles and kind of transform it. This is one of the pieces which you can't see, but I've got a picture on my Instagram which I will link somewhere. Yeah, so I launched that towards the end of 2019 in Nigeria, and it was such an experience. I don't think I've ever like screamed so much in my life and been brought to the verge of tears so many times in my life, because what I found is like starting a business is hard anywhere, I guess, but in Nigeria it's even harder, because even trying to find skilled workers, trying to, you know, sort things out, trying to get vendors to deliver on time, everything is just it's not as frictionless. It's everything like you need to argue, you need to fight, you need to be talking. Even things like getting people to show up on time. You know, you tell someone, okay, interviews at 10, they're showing up at 10:30, or you tell, you know, you're telling models, okay, we're doing this shoot, the shoot call time is 7 a.m. By 7:25 you're calling them like, where are you? They're like, oh, I'm on my way. 8:30, they're still not there. It's just all these little things that just kept happening. You know, trying to get fabric delivered, and it was just not working, and getting the tailors to come show up on time and do stuff. It's very frustrating, and it was a very frustrating experience. Yeah, especially dealing with Nigerian tailors. And people warned me, like starting my business, everybody warned me that Nigerian tailors would be the bane of my existence, and they were. Yeah, but you kind of learn to work with them, and you learn to kind of jump over these hoops, I guess, when you're living in Nigeria. Another thing that I would say is timing and productivity. I feel like people in Nigeria are a little laid back. No one's kind of in a hurry to do anything. I feel like if you live in London, you're always like, everything is so fast paced. Like even the way you walk, the way you do things, it's like quick. Like I'm trying to get from here to here and do this, that. In London I could do like 20 things in one day, but in Nigeria everybody's more chill, and no one really pays attention to time. So it's very frustrating if someone tells me, oh yeah, meet me by 3, and I show up I'm always on time, so I'm there by 3:10 if I'm trying to be fashionably late, and the person's like, oh, I'm still at home, I'll be there soon, and like 4 o'clock they're still saying I'll be there soon. So it's little things like that that are very jarring for me, which I really did not enjoy. Yeah, and the time thing also goes into professional situations as well, where you're trying to do multiple things on one day. Like even running my business, if I tell somebody, oh okay, I need you to work from this time to this time, or be here at this time so I can do this, you can't plan your day with time with Nigerians, because they will just disappoint you. On the flip side though, I do love how like industrious and like hardworking Nigerians are, and it really inspired me, because everyone you meet, it's like, oh, I'm a banker, but I'm also into real estate, and I also sell hair, and I also do, like, everybody is doing multiple things at the same time. Everyone has like 7 different streams of income, and everyone's just working really hard, and I just absolutely love that. I feel like that's such a innately Nigerian thing where just everyone's hustling, everyone wants to make it in life, and it's just inspiring because everyone you meet is just amazing. They're doing something amazing. And so that is it. That's kind of been my experience living in Nigeria. I have had an amazing time. I feel like there's a lot of negatives, but for every negative I feel like there's a positive, and that's kind of what I've been grateful for. I know there's a lot more things that I could possibly touch on, but I'm conscious of how long this video is getting. So yeah, that's kind of been my experience. And if you have any more questions about, you know, living in Nigeria, if you want to hear my story on NYSC camp and NYSC in general, then yeah, leave a comment down below, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Oh yeah, and check out my Instagram as well. I posted a lot more about, you know, my journey and everything, and kind of what I got up to whilst I was there. And yeah.